Calls are recorded for evaluation to train personnel and improve contact center technologies. Let me look up your phone number. If you're calling about charges on your account, say billing. Otherwise, what Apple product or service are you calling about?
MacBook Air.
Was that MacBook Air? Yes or no?
Correct.
After you're finished with the advisor, we'd like to text you a link to a brief survey so you can tell us how we did. Carrier rates may apply. Would you like to take the survey?
No.
Okay, let me get someone to help you. Apple's limited warranty is in addition to your rights as a consumer. To learn more, visit apple.com/legal.
Thanks for contacting Apple Support. My name is Mukesh. Can I get your first name and last name, please?
Sure. What's your name again?
My name is Mick. Can I get your first name and last name, please?
Did you say Nick?
Yeah.
Sure. It's S-I-T-A.
S-I-T-A. Okay, what's your last name?
K-A-I-T-H.
Okay, Sita, what's your Apple ID email address?
0 Luke Dalabana at gmail.com.
And what's the phone number associated with your Apple ID?
You have it. It should show up on your screen there. 647-915-7422.
Six 647-915-7422, right?
That's what I said.
Alright, give me 1 second. Just give me 1 moment, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So your Apple ID is 0lukedalama@gmail.com.
Read
Right.
read back to me what you have.
0lukedal@gmail.com.
Let me spell it out to me. Spell it for me what you have.
LUKEDALLADOMA@gmail.com.
BONA@gmail.com. Yes.
It's B
D.
DOMA, yeah. Okay.
BONA, not MA.
NA, okay. 0LUKEDALLADONA@gmail.com.
BONA.
B for Bob.
B for Bob.
Okay, at what name you use on your Apple ID?
Oh my God, why is this so difficult? I told you the name that I use. I just spelled it out for you.
It's not the name on the Apple, like showing on my end. That's why I'm asking you.
Okay, the Apple ID is exactly what I spelled to you. It's 0 lukedalabana@gmail.com. That's the ID, but I use a different email address.
Your Apple ID is also an email address, like your
No,
Apple ID
yeah,
is
but I
here,
don't.
the
That's
email
not what
address,
I.
and
Okay, the email address I use is sita.toronto@gmail.com.
give me 1 second. SITA. Can you spell it for me? That email address, please.
SITA
Mm-hmm.
dot TORONTO@gmail.com.
Okay. Okay, so may I help you today?
All right, I want to speak to senior advisor, please.
Okay, for sure. And what the issue is?
I have my Mac shows in screen time. It shows that it's been in use when I did not use the Mac.
So in the screen time, it says your Mac is in used, but you never used the Mac.
When I did not use it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, no worries. I'll be happy to help you. Just give me a moment. I'll log in my computer and I'll be back. Okay, and then I can pass it over to senior advisor.
Sure, thank you.
And does the Mac is up to date?
It should be. What's the up-to-date version?
What's the version right now of the Mac? What the Mac OS version right now?
12.2.1.
All right. Okay, give me one moment. All right, so I'll put in a brief hold and I'll be back in a moment, okay?
Thank you. Hello?
Yeah, I'm saying I'm putting on brief hold and talk to my senior advisor and I'll be back, okay?
Yeah, I tell you what. Tell him or her that I want a screen share.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'll do that. Thanks for holding, Sita.
Mm-hmm.
I'm my senior advisor, Nathan, and he will continue your call, okay?
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Hi, Sita. Yes, like you were saying, my name is Nathan. It's nice to meet you today.
Nice to meet you as well. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, he was saying that we had some questions or concerns about screen time on the Mac. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. What seems to be going on?
Well, let's screen share and I'll show you.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and send you the invitation now.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, what is the Apple ID that you have signed in on the Mac?
It is 0, the number 0, Luke, Luke, DALLA, BONA @gmail.com.
I'm sorry, I missed part of that. Could you go back? 0, Luke?
Dalabana, DALLA, BONA @gmail.com.
That Gmail, all right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and send that over now. It should pop up in just a moment up on the top right of your screen.
Right. All right. Now, normally, oh, there it is.
Okay, I see your screen now.
Perfect. All right. So, this is usage, all apps. So I started the computer, opened the computer 3 hours ago, and I've been on the computer consistently. I don't understand this gray usage. It's constantly across my computer. I did not walk away from the computer. I've been looking at it, and I've been I do a lot of screenshots and I record. I record everything that's happening on my computer, okay? Because it's absolutely a nightmare to use the Mac. Now, before I go here, let me give you a preview. May I?
Sure.
Perfect. Sorry, can you tell me your name again? Nathan?
Nathan, yes.
Perfect. All right. So, close that. Do that. Open the screenshot. I unboxed this Mac on the 12th of February. See, I'm in Canada. That's a setup screen. You understand that, right? That's a setup screen on the 12th.
Yeah.
Good. 12th of February. However, when I open the applications folder, it tells me most of my applications were created, modified, and added on February the 6th. Now, I had the Mac in my closet on February the 6th. I didn't open it. It was sitting in my closet. I didn't open it until the 12th. Why is it that all my application folders say February the 6th as my apps are created, modified, and added on February the 6th?
That I couldn't tell you, unfortunately. It's possible that until you set up the date and time on the computer, it may have thought it was an earlier time. And so when you were first setting it up, these are all like base installed apps. So that may be why it's showing a different time and date, because it didn't have that information before it hooked up to the internet.
Okay,
Possible.
but you don't know that for sure.
I don't know that for sure, no, ma'am.
Thank you for that, Nathan. If you don't know for sure, you let me know, because let's not speculate, okay? Because there's a lot of things going on. So that's one.
Okay.
So I set it up on the 12th. Remember that date, on the 12th. And it was set up at 4:50, okay? It says a.m., but the time was incorrect, but the date was correct. Okay, when I set it up, because I documented it. So that's 4:50. Immediately, this Mac tells me that this device does not have an internal battery. Right here. And That's on the 12th, the day when I unboxed it at 4:49:35. Remember, the date that I just showed you was 4:50. This is 4:49. So within a second, okay? Within a second, within a minute, it says it has no internal battery, and that's from console log. All throughout the logs, I see private, submitting private. I did not join a network, but there's lots of submitting to private. It's a constant. I don't know what private is, but and then there's loading group private. There's so many groups on this computer. Then on the 12th, there it is. On the 12th, it tells me your screen is being observed. Okay, now I've been researching what I see on my Mac, and according to Apple, the 501, that number 501 is for the first user of the Mac, correct?
It should be, yes.
Yes, but the sender is 501. I'm not 501.
So there's another user on your Mac, is what you're saying, or?
Well, I'm not saying it. I'm looking at the logs because I know I have no control of the Mac. I'm doing X and it does Y. So, based on my research and based on what I think I'm hearing you say, 501 should be the first user of the Mac. That's not what the log says. Am I correct or not?
Well, it says 501 is sending it. It's not saying that that's not the user, though.
Okay.
I guess what are we trying to get at? What's the main concern here? Are we concerned about security, or?
It is security. Is remote device copy is a unique type and the device is not found. Whatever it is, remote is not found. It cannot be found. Yes, I have no control of the Mac. It's being used when I'm not using it. Okay, so this whatever it is, device cannot be found. Let's see. Here it says current SpyCan clients. I'm not a client on my own computer. It's a private computer. It should not be networked. Wi-Fi wireless proximity is all throughout the computer. It has a group ID of 20. And like I said, the user ID is 501 that belongs to a group, which is group 20. Why do I have a group 20 when I don't belong to a group?
I could not tell you.
Okay. So, it tells me also, oh my gosh, I've got so many of them. It tells me, it seems like I'm a client on my own computer and I'm entitled for destructive operations. And it happens 24/7. That's in the install log. And that's on the unboxing day on the 12th of February. Anyways, there's a million of them. There's a whole bunch of them. Okay, it tells me I'm a managed client right there as an active process. So, like I said, million of them. I've got so many documentation, but let me close that one. And let me show you today. So today, this is Sunday, a new week begins, right? Today, March 13th. Let me open it up. March 13th. So, QuickTime Player, it says I used it for 3 minutes. Okay? But the screen time average in gray has been for 2 hours. Can you explain that to me?
the total screen time average. So again, the blue is just showing you when QuickTime Player was in use.
Right.
But if it was left open, or if there were other files that are connected to it, that could relate to the gray that you're seeing. So gray is not part of your normal usage. That's like your overall screen time average that you have.
So that is why today, Sunday, because it's a new week, I try to document. I've been on the computer since I opened it this morning. Okay? And I cannot figure out what the gray is. Because...
Well, you've been saving screenshots and screen recordings as well. And the screen
Correct.
recordings come off of QuickTime.
Yes.
So even if you're not having QuickTime open necessarily, you're accessing the application. And preview as well for the photos. So for the screenshots, it would be preview, and then the screen recordings would be QuickTime.
Okay. There should Finder be in my applications folder?
No, Finder's not an application.
Okay.
Finder is the interface.
Okay, so Finder, it says I've been using it for 32 minutes. Okay, hold on. Stop.
And that's going to be combined time. So anytime you have like those windows open, that would be part of Finder's use, or whenever you do searches, that would be part of Finder's use.
Okay, here we go. So, preview, it says 54 minutes, right? And so it says all of this here, all that gray in everything. So Finder has been opened. Finder is always running, correct? Good. Finder is always running. And if I've been using the Mac for 3 hours, then Finder should say 3 hours.
Only if you had Finder windows or searches going constantly. But if you're not actively using Finder, it's not going to show that towards Finder's time in the activity monitor or in screen time.
All right, so let's focus on the screen time. So screen time, so why would it say 3 hours, 5 minutes here if Finder is always open here?
Well, again, that's the total. So the total screen time average is everything, right? Not just Finder. It's all of the other apps.
Okay.
Like it's everything together.
Okay. So everything, even though I use it for 37, and this 37 is incorrect. I've been using it since the Mac opened. Look, it's open there. So 37.
No, ma'am. So like if right now you're not using Finder. So Finder is the interface, but the usage is coming from when you open up a Finder window or you use it like a Spotlight search. That would relate to Finder's usage when it shows up in screen time.
Okay.
So even though you're looking at your desktop, if you're working within Photos or other applications, then it wouldn't count towards Finder's usage.
Oh man, okay. Activity monitor was in use for 12 minutes today, and I don't even have, not activity monitor, sorry. You know what, I'm gonna, hold on. Not here. I don't have it there. Hold on. Let's go to always allowed. What is archive utility?
So that's a utility that's used to archive files and documents. A specific example might be if you have iCloud turned on for desktop and documents, and then you turn it off, it's going to archive any files that were part of iCloud that are saved onto the computer.
Okay.
But it could be for any type of file that you would try to archive.
All right. And that's an app on the Mac?
That's it's like a utility, so it's not like an application that you would find in the application folder. It's part of the system itself.
It'll be in utilities?
It may be in utilities, or it may not be visible at all, because again, it's part of the system. Just like with Finder, how you don't see Finder in the application folder, but it's part of the system itself.
Okay. So why is it in always allowed?
Well, whether or not you want to always allow the ability to archive information, to allow that utility, just like any of the others. So you don't have to have it on necessarily, but that's just whether or not you want to allow the user, in this case yourself, to be able to access that type of application,
Now,
or that type of service.
now I did not join iCloud. Let's go here.
That was an example, and you do have an iCloud account
I
here.
do?
We can see it. You just aren't using it, but you do have it.
Correct. I'm not using it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't. So why would I have a utility archive or archive utility when I do not archive anything? When I don't send anything up to
You
the
may
iCloud.
you may not be using it, and again, I was only using iCloud as
Okay.
an example.
Got it.
You don't have to use iCloud to access that utility, and again, you may have the utility and never use it, but
Mhm.
it's always there.
Mhm.
In the case that you were looking at, that section of screen time, for instance, would be if you have a child and you want to prevent them from accessing certain apps or
Mhm.
certain features, you can turn those off.
Mhm.
But if you didn't turn on screen time at all,
Mhm.
all of those items that you see there on the always allow list would automatically be allowed. Everything would be allowed, right? Because screen time wouldn't be active to create restrictions.
Now, is it possible to remove things from this always allowed list?
Well, you just uncheck it. So the list will always be visible there, but the box next to it, if you uncheck it, it tells the system not to always allow that item.
Okay. Why is okay? So you're saying it's okay to have archive utility, automator, Bluetooth, file exchange here when I don't use any of when maybe automator? I don't even remember using automator.
Well,
Yeah.
Automator is just to write scripts in the system, similar to the Shortcuts app on the phone. Most people don't necessarily use it, but again, it's part of the built-in feature.
Mm.
So there's a lot, like the audio MIDI setup, for instance, that you see there in utilities. Not everybody's going to be mixing music on their computer, but
Mhm.
that interface is available.
Okay.
So the same thing with like script editor and Automator, like you were saying.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to that because I want to show you. I had spoken to one of your people before, Nick, and he asked me to download Malwarebytes. When I downloaded Malwarebytes, and it did not show up in the applications folder. There is M. It did not show up in the application folder, but it duplicated itself here. Okay, now I need to know
I'm sorry, I didn't see. I think our screen sharing froze because I don't see you moving your mouse.
Oh,
Do you see an arrow on your screen?
nope.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to end it and resend it just so I can see what you're looking at.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, one more time with the Apple ID that was on the computer.
0 lukedalabona@gmail.com. Hang on.
Okay. And then I'm about to send it now.
Okay. I haven't gotten it. Nathan?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I'm trying to resend it again. Give me just a moment. Okay. that goes through. Do you see it yet? It says
Nope,
it should have been received.
nothing. I don't see anything. I see the two, it tells me I'm connected. The screen in my menu bar.
See, click on that. Does it give you an option to end on your end?
Yes.
Maybe that's why you're not able to. Yeah, go ahead and end it then. And then I'm going to try and send it again and see if that'll allow us to connect. I apologize for this.
That's okay. I disconnected.
I sent it out again.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
You can see my screen?
Yes, I can see it now.
Perfect. Close that. So, right here. So, Malwarebytes, as I was saying, one of your senior advisor, Nick, asked me to download Malwarebytes because of the ongoing issue. When I downloaded Malwarebytes, he was, anyways, I downloaded Malwarebytes. It showed up twice in screen time, and it never showed up in applications folder. It never showed up
There
here.
should have been, when you first downloaded it, there should have been a window that popped up that showed the Malwarebytes icon and a folder that said applications and asked you to drag it over. Did you see that a pop-up during the installation process?
I cannot tell you now, but it was done with Nick, with screen sharing with Nick at the time, right? And but when I later looked at screen time, I saw two Malwarebytes, and someone else had to help me to remove them. I removed both of them. I didn't want any foreign items on my computer, so someone helped me to remove them, and they were removed. Okay, so there they are. They are two Malwarebytes. Okay, and they are no longer. This up, and they are no longer here. They're no longer here, right? They've been removed.
Okay.
Good. So here's what I need from you. I don't know why I take these off today so that when I speak to you, it'll draw my attention to it quickly. I don't know why terminal is here. Shortcuts is here. Disk utility always allowed. It shouldn't be always allowed. And archive utility, automator, and that. Now look here. I'm gonna go here and go Safari. Safari should be in my list, but it's not. I should go Siri. That should be in my list, but it's not. And there's a bunch more that should be. Go ahead.
Well, I don't believe they should be. I'm double checking right now to be sure.
Okay.
But I don't believe those are ones that you can turn off.
Okay, hold on. Let me clarify. You're saying Safari should not be in my always allowed?
In other words, it's not on the list to allow you to turn it off, because that always allow list When you uncheck them, you're telling the computer, do not allow access to this application. So certain either applications or support items are not able to be turned off. Safari or Siri being one of them. You can't go in and tell the computer, hey, don't allow someone to use Siri.
No. I want them allowed. I want Safari.
Yeah, and so with the check next to it, they're allowed. So if there's a check next to it, then that means they're allowed. But if they're not on the list, then you can't turn them off, right? So you can't uncheck the box for Safari. And so it's just not on the list.
Okay. So I was told previously that all apps, anyway, it doesn't matter. I thought all the apps in application folder would be here, but you're telling me no, they don't have to be here.
Correct.
All right. So
yeah, that list is going to be, because again, the list, it's because of the way it's worded, I suppose, it says always allowed. But in other words, that list is there so that you can go in and uncheck ones that you don't want to allow. But yes, like I was saying, certain items are not able to be disallowed, right? Not able to be turned off, so they just don't show up on the list.
So Nathan, the same way one of your colleagues was able to remove Malwarebytes, because there were two of them here, I would like disk utility to be removed and all the other ones that I mentioned. This one here, I want them removed, please.
So these you can't remove. These are part of the operating system itself.
What?
So if you don't want to allow them, you can uncheck them, but they can't be deleted from the computer. You can't delete disk utility from the computer. It's a part of the operating system, the base system itself. So it's not like a third-party app that you can just erase, like with Malwarebytes. So if you uncheck it, then you can tell it, hey, I don't want to allow it, and that's fine. It won't be allowed, but you can't erase it off the computer.
Oh my God. Okay, because Bluetooth file exchange was not here yesterday. I recorded my screen. It was not here yesterday. It showed up this morning. Hold on.
So you can uncheck it if you don't want to allow it.
But why would it show up? What would trigger it to show up?
Well, Bluetooth file exchange is an option to use Bluetooth, right, to send files back and forth between other computers that are local. In other words, within like an office setting, you'd be able to share files like in a shared folder.
Nathan, I get that. That's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking what it does. I know what it does. I just don't want it here because there are things showing up here that I don't want. I want it removed. Disk utility, always allowed, should not be there. Just like how, look, if I go to utilities, why isn't audio in there? Why isn't all of them in there? Because they don't.
Because not every item can be turned off, right? Not every item can be disallowed using screen time.
You're telling me, Nathan, I cannot remove this utility the same way that a previous senior advisor removed Malwarebytes.
That's correct. You can't erase part of the operating system.
No.
Malwarebytes is not made by Apple. Well, that's what you're asking to do. You're asking to erase disk utility off of the computer, and we can't do that.
That's not true. I'm not asking for it to be erased. I'm asking it to not to be in my always allowed.
So the always allowed list is showing you a list of items that you can choose to allow or disallow. If it's unchecked, it's not being allowed, right? So if you uncheck it, you're telling, like all the ones that don't have checks, you're telling it, hey, don't allow these to be used, right? The ones with checks, you're saying it's okay to always allow these. So by unchecking it, you're telling it, hey, don't allow it. So in essence, you're turning it off. But that's not the same as what we did with Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes, we just erased the application, so it's not visibly seen anywhere in the computer because it's gone at that point. But disk utility will always be there. You can't remove it because it's a core piece of the system.
All right. And so disk utility is a core piece of the system. Got it. Hold on a second. And it cannot be removed. Got it. Okay. And none of the others can be removed. What's the shortcut cannot be removed either?
Correct. You can uncheck it if you don't want to give access to that app, but it can't be erased from the computer. And if you back out, I don't believe it's in utilities. It should be in the regular applications folder. But it's just like it started on the phone, and then they brought it over to the computer. But it simplifies the way to create an automation, like a script. It just makes it simple where you just kind of cut and paste what you want to do. Like, if I receive an email from this person, then send this alert, etc. You use it to like piece together automation commands.
Well, if these are the things, for example, I'm going to undo that. If Bluetooth file exchange cannot be removed, it doesn't explain why it was not there previously but only showed up today. Because if it was a necessary part of the operating system, it would have been there from the beginning. Right? It wasn't there yesterday. Would you like me to prove to you that it wasn't there yesterday? What would it wasn't there yet. And look, I'm going to ignore that part because we're not getting anywhere.
Go ahead and go back. Well, I want to check some of your other settings. Go to sharing.
Mm-hmm. Oh my! This was never ticked off. That's new. I never take that off. Nothing here was ticked off. That's
go
new.
ahead and uncheck it then. And then go ahead and go back and see if that changed anything for sharing.
Hold on a second. Hold on. You see where it says AirPlay's off now?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Okay, the only one thing that shows in red, my thought is when something is really off, it's in red. Okay, see it's red, but nothing else is shown in red. That red doesn't show up for anything else. Not remote, administrators, nothing. Doesn't show up in red. Only internet sharing. Nothing else red. Go ahead. You want to ask me something?
Well, no, I was going to tell you. I mean, as far as if we were trying to get them to change that feature, the best place to go would be apple.com/feedback to explain your concerns. That's where they normally look at customer suggestions for changes to the system.
Hold on. I'm going to write that down. Give me a minute, okay?
Sure.
Apple.com/feedback?
/feedback, yes. And I mean, obviously, you can use it for things like this, where it's suggestions or feature requests. You could also use it if you have issues with Apple policies or any other types of concerns. In other words, it's good for compliments, complaints, and feedback.
Perfect. All right. So, okay, and you wanted me to go back somewhere?
Go back and see if Bluetooth still shows up on that list. Not here. Go ahead and go back and then go to your screen time.
Yep. Yep, it's right here. So my settings change constantly. Every day it's something new.
Yeah. And mine shows there too, but I'm not saying that it wasn't, you're saying it wasn't there before. I'm not sure why it would have suddenly appeared. Have you downloaded any new applications recently or changed any other settings besides these?
No, it changes on its own. It does it every day. That's why I record. That's why I have millions of screenshots and recordings. Because every day it changes.
You don't have a profile.
No, because profile has been removed. Hold on. Stop right there. Profile was removed. Where does it say? I have it someplace. Profile. I actually have registration for a personal listener. Okay, and I have one that says profile has been removed. I can't find it right now. I have, when I turn off Wi-Fi, setting new client connection, I have 107 active connections. I have nearly 200 sometimes active connections when I turn off Wi-Fi. That's why I tell you, that the Mac is in use when I'm not using it.
Well, yeah, and again, as long as the computer's on, it will continue to run, and things will occur in the background. See.
I have, hold on, XPC server is messaging between client, me, and service helper. I put a name there, Luke Dalabana, but this, you see, this is a constant XPC server. So it seems to me that I'm a client on my own computer. And I turn off Bluetooth, but Bluetooth is constantly in use.
You turn off Bluetooth, but it constantly comes back on. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, hold on a second. I showed you Bluetooth just now, and look, it's off, but it's always in the logs as being used. Hold on, user. Here, user is this here. By host.
I don't see, where does it say Bluetooth?
No, it doesn't say Bluetooth on this one.
Oh.
But a lot of the logs says Bluetooth. It says, please file a bug for private. Private keeps showing up all the time, and it's in the logs. There's a lot of missing descriptions, a lot of missing subsystem, and then the log stops. I know, and you can tell me, and I documented it. Hold on, I don't know where it is. The log stops. Hold on. Like right now, there's no log messages coming in. Look, it stops. See that? It stops. After 74,000, it just stops. I go to error on faults, there's nothing. It stops. It's all the time. It will not show me the subsystem, and it will not show me the description. See? Subsystem and category, I have ticked off, but it will not show it to me.
For this bottom one here, the missing description for using MetalPath. Okay.
I don't know what MetalPath.
Metal is the platform we use for graphics.
Okay, but that's what it says, and no more logs. That happens a few times a day, because I normally look at the console. A few times a day, it will stop. It wouldn't give me any more logs.
And then they just start up again.
And it doesn't start up again. I have to shut it down from here, from console, completely shut it down. Only then it'll start again. And sometimes it'll give me logs for just for a few seconds or just for a few minutes, and then it'll stop. It will not give me logs. Connection bug. Session on console. That was at whatever. It's private is a constant. From none to hidden. Anyways, this is what happened. I do not get my logs. It stops constantly. And if I go up, you can see the time when it started. It is a plugin. Oh, by the way, I wanted to ask you, what causes plugins to happen?
Plugins?
Yeah.
I mean, plugins are used for all sorts of things. It's like a driver in essence. So we have built-in ones. Multi-touch may be related to your trackpad, I would assume. Because the trackpad uses a multi-touch system for you to be able to use different gestures.
Right.
That's most likely what it's referring to.
Oh, there's Bluetooth. There's Bluetooth. There are lots of Bluetooth even when I turn Bluetooth off. Okay, millions of plugins. I don't know where they came from, but here's the thing. Here's log message started at 10:17, and then it ended at 10:43. Okay, so sometimes, like I said, a few seconds of log messages and then it'll stop, or a few minutes and then it'll stop, and it won't show me anymore. Now that should not happen, correct?
I couldn't say whether or not it's supposed to pause or stop at any point.
Well, hold on, I'll show you, because right that where it says start means you should show me. If I want to pause it and I press it, it'll say pause. Okay? Nothing. I want it to continue. I never stop it. There it goes. There's nothing. It stopped on its own. So, please tell me why I do not get my log messages.
Go ahead and delete the text that you searched for up here. So delete fault and delete error.
No, that just comes on.
And then go ahead and scroll down. Is there anything else?
No. No, if I go, here's the thing. If I go to errors and faults, that pops in. Okay?
Yeah,
Because
it's a search, yeah.
and when I go to all messages, it should show me my messages, but it doesn't.
Well, it either doesn't or new ones haven't necessarily been created for the past 2 hours.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said it's either that they're not. Well, I doubt it's that it's not showing it to you. It may just be that it's not creating any new ones over the past 2 hours. Let's see.
Why wouldn't it though? The reason I bring it up is not a one-off. It's constant. And I've tried every permutation, every combination, and it just stops cold. It does not tell me what's happening on the Mac because I document it. What's happening? I document the nearly 200 active connections when I do not have Wi-Fi turned on.
Well, the connections aren't necessarily referring to connection to the wireless router, right? It's internal connections between different systems.
Really? Active connections mean it's not an outside source?
It's not always referring to outside sources, correct?
But it could.
Yeah, if it was, it would most likely say wireless over at the category. If it was something that was connecting outside or externally.
Here, I'm a client, 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 client. Why am I client on my own computer?
And that's just terminology that they use in coding.
Yeah, but it says host and client. Those are words I should not.
I mean, it should say client there. It's perfectly normal for there to be clients and hosts within your system.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Is there an article you can send me that can show me that? What's starting private? Everything, whatever is hidden is private.
Let me see if there's one that we make. email to send this to for you?
SITA dot TORONTO@gmail.com. So what
So
do you?
these going to be all these will be all the forward-facing articles that I found related to console. It's actually part of our user guide.
Okay.
So if you download the user guide from the Apple Bookstore, you can see it there too. But these are direct links to our website. So I just went ahead and sent that over. There's 4 pages. Or
Okay.
4 links, I should say.
So when you've sent it, please let me know.
I just sent it.
Okay.
And that should have all the information that they have customer-facing from Apple that regards console. Viewing activities and different things like that, setting up searches.
Okay. And then were you looking at private, what private is? Because I've looked up what life cycle is. It means that this computer is life cycle managed. It's a management system.
Well, you don't have any more profiles on there. You would see a profile if it was still being managed.
Because
computer, that is. But you said it used to have a profile.
No. Profile has been removed. I had the bug managed.
Correct. It had one on there and you took it off.
No. Oh no. No. Swap enabled. Oh, by the way, swap enabled the minute I open the Mac. Hold on. Streaming. No profile. Here it is. Account summary is disabled. It can be enabled by installing the account's profile, which means it doesn't have an account profile. I never removed it. I wouldn't even know how to remove it.
So you would have to be the one to remove it. Again, if we're talking about device management profiles, it wouldn't remove itself. Right? You would have to remove it.
That's right. It doesn't remove itself. I didn't remove it. I don't know how to remove it. I didn't even know it was removed. Go ahead.
You would click on Apple.
Okay.
Go to System Preferences.
Yeah.
And then press back. And then you would go to Profile.
Okay.
And then when you click on it, it would give you the ability to press a minus button and remove any profiles that were added to the computer. When there are no profiles added for device management, the profile icon does not appear on your System's Preference page.
Okay. And this explains it. It means it's been removed, right?
Well, this is talking about accounts profile, so this is most likely not talking about a management profile. That's the profile. So when I speak of profiles and we're talking about the System Preferences page, this would be device management, right? Not accounts. So like an account profile would be a user versus like they call it MDM or mobile device management.
Yes, I have MDM.
Type of profiling.
I have MDM. Oh my gosh, wait. I have MDM.
It's not showing up.
Huh?
It's not showing up. Again, MDM would show up under a profiles icon in the System Preferences. Where do you go to see the MDM?
It's in the console. That's why console keeps stop showing me the logs. And here, there's one here, captured data keeps being cleaned all the time. And yeah, MDM is constant. I will find it, and if you send me that email, can I respond to you via that email you sent me?
No, ma'am. There's no way to reach out to us directly through emails. There are always going to be no reply.
Can you send me an email whereby I can respond to you?
So there's no email that I can send you. It's always going to come from a no reply email. It's an automated system that I use to send out articles.
Yes, but there is, hold on, there's one here. I want to show you. Pick up 37 and it only shows 4. Here. And I don't know who's picking up my computer for 37 times because it only shows 4 here. Okay, let's go back to what I just asked you. You cannot send me an email to which I can respond.
Correct. It's going to come from no reply.
It's going to come from the reply.
No, it'll say no reply at apple.com.
Right. Okay. You see, Nathan, the awful things about talking when I talk to you guys is you guys say different things. This is day one of unboxing. I'll go back to what I just said about the email. This is day one of unboxing. It says bug type 115. Is that a problem?
I mean, unless you've continuously seen the same bug, I wouldn't assume it to be very big of a problem. But let me try to search for that. It looks like a restart bug, a bug type. It's most likely software related. Again, if it was a major issue, you would have started to see it more often, and you may have even seen your computer turn off and turn back on.
Yeah. Hold on.
I guess the question here is at this point, what are we trying
There
to
it is
achieve?
again. There it is on March 7th. All of it has been wiped out. All the ones previously has been wiped out. It's a constant 115.
Well, then the best thing for software-related issues is to do a restore. And so I can definitely walk you through that. The data that's on the computer right now, is it saved? Do you have it backed up?
No, there's 115 again. It's a constant all over the place. One look, it's so long. 115 today, the 13th, 115.
See, the best thing for us to do next would be to erase the computer, erase it, and restore using our recovery server.
Okay. So what did you say about 115 again? It's a problem if it continues.
It appears it may just be a software issue. Again, the way to resolve software issues like this would be, when it comes to restarts or unexpected restarts, is to go through a restore process. So erasing the computer in recovery and then downloading a new fresh copy of the OS.
Okay, so reset.
Have you noticed the device restarting? Is it shutting down and restarting?
Nathan, it has a mind of its own. It does whatever it does constantly. It's doing whatever it feels like doing. I don't know what it does. It's just a problem from the moment I open it in the morning. I see usage. I tried having it with no power. I drained all the power, no power. When I opened it, activity monitor shows like 50,000 packets in and out. Okay, when it had no power. All right, it's a constant.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, I can definitely walk you through the erase process. I think that's the best thing to do at this point, based on all of the information.
Okay. And by the way, this one seems to be screen capture seems to be a problem because it has incident identifier. Should I have shared cache? Why is it shared cache here?
So it's cache that's shared amongst the different users in the computer. You may not have other users, but that's just what the cache is called, that the location on the computer that stores that type of information.
Right. So right there, we have a problem. I am sharing, or the computer is sharing stuff. It's sharing. It's there in black
Well, no,
and white.
it's not. It's not. It's cache that's shared. So if there's more than one user, that cache would be shared among the users. It's not information that's accessible necessarily. The storage unit is shared. If you want to think of the cache as a storage unit, the storage unit is shared among the different users. But you may not have other users, so you may not actually be sharing that cache with anybody else because of the fact that you only have the one user on the computer. But that's still the place that information gets saved to.
Right. So the Mac sees it as an incident. It's an incident identifier, and it identified shared cache as a problem. And shared
Well,
cache, go ahead.
it's not, it's not identifying it as a problem. It's just identifying that specific incident. In other words, it's using the term incident for when you created that screen capture. When you did a screen recording or a
Okay.
screenshot.
Because that's a constant. There it is today at 11:14. There it is again. It's a constant, just like 115 bug
Right.
type 1. Okay.
That's, again, if you're taking a lot of screenshots of screen recordings, that
Mhm.
would explain why you see all of these screenshots and screen recordings being logged in the console.
Mhm. Okay.
It's documenting your screenshots and your screen recordings.
So if I can show MDM as in what does MDM means, by the way?
Mobile device management.
MDM, mobile device management. Okay.
That's, yes. And the way to find it would be to go to the Apple logo
Mhm.
and choose System Preferences.
Mhm.
And if there was an MDM profile on here, we would see a silver starburst with a check mark in it, and it would say Profiles underneath.
All right. So it doesn't say it here, and so I've noticed the computer is not congruent. So it doesn't say it here, but it does say it in console. So
It says mobile device management, or it's just using the initials, because it could be referring to something else then, because your computer would have to show you that there was a profile on it. There's no way to manage a device without a profile existing on the device.
Okay.
And out of curiosity, is this computer from your work?
No. This
Okay,
is a
so that's mobile device management is for companies to send out computers to their employees. Computers, phones, tablets, etc. That allows them to allow certain types of softwares to be downloaded or restrict certain types of softwares to be downloaded based on whatever that specific individual's job is. But that's what the mobile device management would be for.
That's right.
As an example, if there was like a construction company and each of the foremans had cell phones and computers, they would use mobile device management and mail out those devices to the different foremans so they can access the internal systems for that company.
All right. So if there is a MDM profile, and if it's, just play with me for a second, if it's not showing in system preference, where should I see it in category?
You wouldn't see it anywhere. It wouldn't be on the computer if it's not in system preferences.
If it's not in system preference, I shouldn't see it anywhere on the computer.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be on the computer. Correct.
So it shouldn't be here in console at all.
Yeah, it wouldn't say mobile device management in there. In theory, there could be other items that have, or other things that have that same initial, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find anything online.
Mm-hmm.
Modern distribution management,
Mm-hmm.
master data management. And I mean, there could be others as well.
But it's still a management system.
Well, I'm not familiar enough with master data management,
right?
But that doesn't sound like it would have anything to do with a company managing a computer.
No, I get it, but it's still the what it does is it's in the name management.
Yes, they use the word management in that specific acronym that I just told you. Again, it could be completely unrelated to computers. I didn't read exactly what that is referring to.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Showed you that one. Three. No. No, I can't find it now. This client is private. And I know I've seen millions of MDM client. There it says debug, mobile, um, Apple
Well,
mobile
again,
asset. No, that's
again,
okay.
like I was saying before, if you
Yeah,
see MDM in the console,
yeah,
it's not mobile device management. And I
okay.
can tell you that for sure
Mm-hmm.
because you don't have the tab that says profiles in system management or in system preferences.
Mm-hmm.
You would have to have that profile icon in there
Okay.
because there would have to be a way to add the management and
Mm-hmm.
remove it. And
Okay.
the way to do that is through the interface in system preferences.
Why would category say debug?
Debug mode, it's common across all types of computers, video game systems, etc. Debug mode is just a mode that runs in the background for different things. I can't speak to those specific console logs as to what the debug mode is doing, but yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
just part of the system.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the stuff you're seeing is all just related to the system running in the background. These items aren't necessarily meant to be said or shown in layman's terms for everybody to see or understand what's happening.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, so far, based on a lot of the logs and things that you're showing me, I don't see anything that would be concerning as far as security.
Right. And okay, you don't see anything that's concerning. Got it. Here's okay, so let's see if this is concerning. Bug type 115 is not concerning, no?
But type 115, if you're not seeing the computer shut off and turn back on, then I wouldn't be as concerned about it. But if we want to make sure there's no software issues, like I said, the best thing to do is to erase the computer and restore it, or not restore it, reinstall a copy of the operating system.
But bug type 115 is a problem, you say?
I don't know if it's necessarily a problem to your computer. I feel if it was a problem, you would be noticing issues with the device, like restarts.
I do, because I don't see it like when I am using the computer normally, but I shut it down, and when I turn it on again, I'm telling you there's so much usage. It shows usage. Anyways, we'll carry on because we're not getting it, for me anyway, we're not getting anywhere. There's battery is fully charged here, but only 30%, 37% charged here. Is that a problem?
Well, that's the battery usage in the last hour, so it's not the last 12 hours. So it's not saying that it's charged. For some reason, it's just saying that the amount that it's been using shouldn't necessarily look full green, but that's going to be related to usage as opposed to the percentage that your computer is charged. These two items for battery are not directly related. This one and this one.
Really? Because I was told that.
It's related in the sense that as you're using it, obviously this number will go down, and as you charge it, this number will go up. But in other words, you're not going to see this fill 30% over the last 12 hours or 37% because you're not on a specific percentage constantly, right? Your percentage changes over time. It goes down or goes up as you charge or use it.
Sure. And as I use it at 37%, they should show in white, not green. The green, I was told by your colleagues, means that I've been charging it for this time. For this until now, until current, for the last 12 hours, it shows. If it shows in white, it means I'm not charging it. Right? So
did you have it plugged in during that time frame?
nope. That's why it's at 37%. But it's showing it as charging. I didn't charge it. It's at 37%. Problem, no?
Well, I'm looking it up right now. I use a desktop, so I'm looking up information directly about the battery. Well, actually, let's do this. Why don't you shut down your computer and run a diagnostics test on the computer?
No, I don't want to shut it down because if I shut it down, then you're disconnected, and then I lose you.
Well, you don't lose the phone call, but yes, we wouldn't be sharing the screen.
Yeah.
But I could run a diagnostics and tell you about the actual physical hardware, the battery itself. The diagnostic would show exactly what the battery condition is in.
Well, we can do it. We can do it now, but let's talk about the screenshot. I just want to go over the stuff that I'm seeing, instead of new things. So this should be congruent, but it's not. So do we have a problem or no?
Well, I'm trying to, again, like I said, I don't use a portable computer, so
Okay,
I'm trying to
that's
look it
okay.
up right now to see what we're expecting to see.
Okay, I'll let you look it up.
I'm sorry, could you go back to that screen again?
The
The
screen?
battery screen?
Battery screen, yeah. Oh, yeah, and then I'll bring this back here.
Processing. Okay.
Okay, hang on for 1 sec. Okay.
So yes, so it looks like it wasn't reading the battery correctly because again, this is showing us fully charged. Again, the diagnostics test would tell us about the hardware, and if the hardware is not an issue, then the next step would be to discuss erasing the computer.
Right. Okay. So I have constantly things are running here that says it's using significant energy, but never show up in activity monitor. Like for
So
instance,
the Spotlight search is part of Finder, so you're going to see Finder right here.
okay,
And again, depending on what you're searching for, as you open it up, you're going to see different programs running. So
right.
Spotlight search, the word itself won't necessarily appear here.
I've seen Spotlight appear here. I've seen it. That's why I documented. That's why I specifically circled it because I've seen Spotlight appear.
Well, again, it is part of Finder.
Okay.
And right now, it's saying it's using significant energy, but you don't have it pulled up.
No. Okay. So right here as an active process, I don't have Wi-Fi there. I turned it off, and I have Apple Cloud Docs Mobile Documents Finder or File Sender, something like that. And I'm going to ignore this screenshot now. We already talked about that, and we've agreed that there's an issue there. Yes.
Well, there's a concern of
A
it not
concern.
reading the battery correctly.
Got it. Okay, a concern. So I unboxed on the 12th, okay, of February, and it tells me this user is not allowed access to the Windows system right now. That's why I'm not user 501. Whatever is using it does not have access to the system right now. Comment on that?
I can't comment on that.
Right. And when it comes to the
Agent, do you have, what type of display settings are you using at this time?
I just started up the Mac. It's on the 12th. This is 449. I showed you started it up about 450. So immediately, these are the logs. Bluetooth number 1, taking up a lot of using space. But it tells me, I don't know. It was just, I didn't migrate anything. I didn't upload anything. I didn't join a network. Did not join a network. And I recorded it.
This has nothing to do with the network. This is going to be part of the display settings, the
Right.
ambient display agent. So there's a sensor inside of your display that reads the light temperature around it
Mhm.
and then adjusts the light point and the brightness accordingly.
Right.
So again, you can go and pick presets. You can adjust things itself.
Mhm.
You would do that through system preferences.
Mhm.
But if you're saying you weren't even on the desktop yet, then that may explain why you didn't have access to system preferences yet. Because
No.
again, you didn't have access to the desktop at all.
I didn't at that point in. Okay, hold on. So hold on. Explain that to me. Yes, I didn't have. I was setting it up at that point in time. 449. I was setting it up,
Yes.
and that's expected behavior. You're telling me?
I'm not saying that it's expected. I'm just saying that this is related to your ambient display agent. So this has to do with display settings and the way the ambient light sensor works.
Got it.
So, yeah.
Got that part.
If
It
you
does.
if you can access it now, then you shouldn't have any issues any longer.
All right. So this part, this line here, the message where it says user is not allowed access, that's not concerning?
I wouldn't be concerned about this, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hold on. Right away, it tells me connection debug, and I did not connect to a network. It said there's a session. What a session? Session means like I'm talking to you now, and you're sharing my screen. There's a session. Yes?
No, not necessarily. The sessions inside the computer could relate to a session where certain applications are interacting with another. It could be used in all sorts of ways. Again, when we're screen sharing like this, I don't believe it would show up as session in the console log. So again, if you have Wi-Fi off, it's not connecting to anything outside of the computer. If the session is running, it's running internally.
Huh. Well, I'm gonna go back to, and I'm not gonna stay with this. I just want to point out to you, I unboxed on the 12th. The Mac was sitting in my closet for about a month before I unboxed it. It was, I was not using it. So I cannot explain, and you, I believe, cannot explain why it says February the 6th here. And one more thing, in the install log, there is no such, February the 6th does not exist in the install log. It doesn't show at all.
Well, these weren't installed. These are part of the OS. So these would not show any installs.
Okay.
Because you didn't download and install it like you would with others.
Okay. Let's talk about these then. None of it shows up in the install log. Because I know. I have my... Go ahead. I documented it.
Well, I think we keep running around in circles a little bit. Again, with all of the concerns that you have, the resolution is to erase the computer. If we're concerned about the software inside the computer, then we would want to erase it and download a new copy of the operating system, a fresh copy of the operating system.
Got you. All right. So, my bottom line question, based on everything I've shown you, right? And yes, you're correct. I'm going to different places. Just one more. I just want to ask you if this is expected behavior. This private relay and hide my email, they don't have these little things that you can tick off there. Oh, hang on. These little boxes. What are these two?
So these are items that are not available to you unless you were to upgrade to iCloud Plus. unfortunately, or some networks unfortunately do block it, and so will request you to turn it off. But the idea behind it is when you can use it, you're hiding your traffic and preventing tracking from advertisements or anywhere else. Any types of security concerns you would have. This helps hide your presence online. Hide my email is a little bit different. Hide my email is going to be, for instance, nowadays, right, we have to sign into everything. You go to a website, sign up for this. You go to another website, sign up for that. So anytime you do want to sign up for something because you want to access those features or those services, but you don't want to share your email with the company, Hide My Email gives you the ability, right, through iCloud Plus, to have it automatically generate, I shouldn't say fake, but a temporary email for that specific application. So it's not an email that's connected to you directly. It's just a randomly generated email that the company would see, so they don't see your actual email.
I see. Okay. Thank you for that. And so let me go back to the email. We spoke about email, and you said you cannot send me an email where I can respond to you, yes?
Correct. There's not an email that you would be able to use to reach out directly to me.
So I'm going to go to my inbox, and this is an email I sent previously on the 11th. See, I was able to send somebody an email. Where is it? Why is it I cannot send you an email?
Well, there's no email that comes into me, so I'm not sure why they have an email or what's different about that person that you spoke with.
So here it is.
My position as a senior advisor, but I do not have a customer-facing email.
Okay, because here's an email that he sent me, customer-facing, and I could respond to. Thank you for your assistance. See, I could respond to it, but you're telling me you don't have one of these magic things.
Well, I don't have an email that's customer-facing. Correct.
So different senior advisors have different things that they can use, or emails, or something similar to this. Some of you.
I can only speak to myself. If they had some way to allow you to reach back out to them, then that's something based on their qualifications or their specific position. But for my specific position, I do not have a customer-facing email. I don't have an email that I can send you for you to respond back to me.
Okay.
Anytime I send it out, it's gonna come out as a no reply.
Okay, so let me go to the one you just sent me. So these are the ones. Do these include any forum that I can go to? I'd like to get some feedback from you in terms of, I know you said I could go to apple.com/feedback, but can you give me some links for forums I can go to post to ask questions about what's happening on my Mac?
Yeah, I can send you a link to our forum site on the apple.com page.
Thank you. And the one thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to quit console. I'm going to start it up again. There we go. All right, I'm not sure if you answered this question, but why would console stop? Is it supposed to stop? How do I prevent it from stopping?
through the articles that I sent to you, so it doesn't speak to whether or not it should stop or why it would stop. It doesn't give any information related to that.
Hmm.
It just talks about how to view it. So it goes through and explains. And obviously, you know how to use it mostly, but again, those articles will just go into more detail with that. But it doesn't look like it mentions anything about how long the message list is for when you start streaming.
Okay. And this one we talked about, where console will not give me the subsystem and the category. See, it's missing there, even though it's ticked off here.
Correct, yeah, it's missing information, it looks like. I couldn't tell you as to why these specific items are missing information.
But is that not an important flaw?
I don't see it as a flaw, no. I mean, I've seen things like this before where items are missing descriptions or don't show certain information. It could be that there's no subsystem to the systems that are having these messages that are appearing. But again, I can't speak to these specifically. I'm not familiar enough with each of these individual messages.
That's all right. And then it tells me kernel, everything kernel is volatile. Right? Volatile.
Kernel is going to be referring to the internal systems, either the software kernel or the hardware kernel.
Right. And everything.
So yeah, it's perfectly normal for you to see it showing kernel. And again, it's showing all of that because we're specifically searching for kernel, so these are only the ones that are related to kernel.
Right, and that's what I wanted. I searched kernel. I wanted to see it, but it tells me it's volatile. Sometimes it tells me there's fault. Sometimes it tells me to debug kernel.
Volatile is referring to the type of RAM, the fact that it can be written and rewritten.
Okay.
That's perfectly normal too.
Okay.
It's just the terminology for the type of
All right.
memory.
So here, there's kernel. There's plugin. There's one here, Wi-Fi manager. That's missing a description, but it doesn't say missing description there. So it varies. A little bit of this will be missing. A little bit of this will be missing. It varies at different times. Different things will be missing. I just want to know what I should expect. Look, if it's expected behavior, fine. I'm trying to understand my Mac.
Everything seems perfectly normal. Like I said, I don't see any issues that would be related to security based on everything we looked at together. I don't see anything that would concern me.
Okay, so the one that says, okay, so let's go here. Let's close that down. So where it says your screen is being observed, that's not a concern when there's no Wi-Fi.
So it's strange that would appear. Yeah, if you're not on Wi-Fi where you can't get through Ethernet.
No, absolutely nothing. That's why I document.
Yeah, so then that would definitely be some sort of bug that's causing that to appear.
Thank you.
It wouldn't be because it's actually being observed, right? But it would be because there's some sort of bug that's pinging the page to tell you that on your login screen.
Right. So there's many of these. So this is the setup date, February the 12th. I keep repeating, and immediately it says this: your screen is being observed. We have this. We have the February the 6th apps that say they were created, modified, and added to the computer on the exact same day, exact same time. We have in the install log, we have macOS error. It's a security thing. It's security. It's an error. There's the error. Can you search what that error is? I've been seeing it a lot.
In my error list that references that specific one.
Okay, and I also have what it says. This is an IPC machine. I specifically remember. I can't find a screenshot, but it tells me this is an IPC machine, and I search IPC, and IPC means it's a managed network computer. Do I have it here? I don't know if I have it here. No, there's remote D, but this one doesn't say IPC. I have it somewhere. I have millions of them. I just have to find them. And I have that February the 6th date. Whatever happened, it happened at root, and it was all restricted.
Okay. So again,
I got it.
the solution is to erase the computer if we have all of these concerns. Like I said, based on the information that I'm seeing here, even with that pop-up that you had on your lock screen on that first day, I would not be concerned about using this computer.
Okay, so you would not be concerned about it. Got it. But a purchaser of a Mac should be concerned, right? It should be concerning to see your screen is being observed when you did not connect to a network. It should be concerning to anyone. Maybe not you.
So, yeah. So again, I know we keep going back to this, but there is only one solution, right? Which is to erase the computer. Because if there is any software on this computer that would be causing some sort of way for someone else to get in, erasing it would remove that information, remove all software off of the computer.
Yes, I agree with you. I will get it erased. I think the one thing that is concerning to me is when I speak to you, you said there's nothing of concern to you. So just to clarify, you think I should wipe the computer, but there's nothing that you've seen that is concerning to you, not the battery, not the one that says personal listener, not the one that says your screen is being observed, not the one that says this device has no internal battery. Nothing of that is of concern, but I should wipe it if I am concerned, right?
The only thing that I would be worried about and I would run a diagnostics test on would be the battery, but everything else correct. If you are concerned with it, the best thing we can do based on your concerns would be to erase it.
All right. So it's basically my concerns. But where it says your screen is being observed, is that expected behavior or not?
It's not expected behavior.
Thank you.
That would be some sort of bug, and the fact that you're saying it wasn't connected to the internet would mean that there isn't anyone that was observing it. So we would know it was some sort of internal bug that was causing that to pop up.
Okay. Thank you. So we agree that there's some bug on the computer, right? Because I showed you bug 115, which pops up practically every day.
Right. Every computer device would have some sort of bugs on it, even
Okay.
when it's running perfectly fine. So this computer, even after you erase it, may continue to have different types of bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And bugs in general are not things to be majorly concerned with unless it starts to impede your usage of the device.
All right. So when I wipe it, should I see that should I see this screen again? Hold on. Your screen is being observed. Should this go away or should this remain after it's been wiped?
So you shouldn't see that when it's normally on the sleep screen. Once you've set it up fully and you're on the desktop and then you put it to sleep or you restart it, that should not appear when it comes back up.
Okay. And you call this a sleep screen?
Yeah, when you wake it from sleep, it would be like a login screen or a lock screen.
Right. Okay, so this I shouldn't see, and I'm guessing I should not see that fully green battery at all, right?
After it's been used for a few days, correct, the battery should start showing as normal because it's had time to drain and charge, and so it should be able to read the battery correctly after a few days of use.
Perfect. And then the last thing I want to ask you, the last one I should ask you is that MDM client. I know I've seen it, but let's pretend I didn't see it. It should not. Okay, hold on. I'm going to be specific. I should not see it anywhere here because look, I'm not.
You may see it here. If you see it here,
Yes.
it's not related to device management. The place that you would see it that
Yeah.
you should be concerned about if
Yes.
you don't have device management
Mhm.
is only in system preferences. That's the only place it would be located if there was an actual mobile device management profile on your computer.
And if I see it here, it would mean something completely different. That's what you're saying.
Correct.
Perfect.
Yes.
So we'll stay with those three: the battery, your screen is being observed, and MDM client. I'll stay with those three.
Right.
I know what you're saying. I should not see it here, but if I do see it, it does not
Oh,
mean.
no. I didn't say you shouldn't see it here.
I-
I'm not sure what it would mean if you see it here, but I can tell you that it definitely wouldn't mean the profile on the computer. The only place you would see the profile on the computer and would be concerned about it, right, if you weren't the one, if you didn't accept the management profile, would be in system preferences. That's the only place you would go and see it if it was on the computer.
You're correct. I did misspeak. You're correct. That is exactly what I understand. So when it says, so I should not see anything that says manage client after it's been wiped, yes?
No, manage client does not refer to mobile device management. That's unrelated. It's most likely talking about a client in the computer.
A client in the computer, not an outside, not me being managed by an outside system.
Correct.
Okay, I will research it.
Client is a computer term, so it's not referring to a person. In other words, it's not like a client that
Okay.
a lawyer might have.
Right.
It's referring to something within the computer itself that's running as part of a program or an application.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see things like local device change, but Bluetooth address changed. Should that be concerning to me?
No. No, you can see it multiple times. I wouldn't be concerned about the Bluetooth address changing. It's like if there was a code for your devices to use to connect to the computer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that number changing for different devices that you might be trying to connect, or even if the Bluetooth is off, it may be cycling through these address numbers.
But local device changed doesn't mean any.
Local devices is referring to your computer or something on your local network as opposed to anything over the internet. It's not referring to your connection to anything outside of it.
Got it. But what would it mean locally? What local device change would mean? Something like what? Give me an example. Actually, you're very good at the examples, so I like that. Thank you. It would give me an example of local device changed.
Well, this is talking about core utilities, it looks like, and a remote display daemon. So it may have to do with display settings that had been changed or some type of other core setting that got changed in the system. So again, anytime you're adjusting something in the computer, that would be changing the local device in some way. And so these may relate to changes that have occurred to the computer. In this case, it looks like it was the Bluetooth that got changed. In this one, it's the local device ID, apparently. The ID number here. Again, these are all numbers or addresses that are being used internally to communicate with other parts of the computer or to allow the computer to communicate with other devices outside of the network. Not necessarily meaning that you are communicating with other devices, but allowing your system to be able to communicate with other devices.
Is there a way to stop that for it to communicate with other devices?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you don't connect to the internet, then you don't have any way to connect to any other devices outside of the computer. When I say it allows you to, in other words, if you chose to access a server, for instance, that's your computer communicating with other devices outside of your local network, right? So most of the time, again, you're in control, right? This isn't telling the computer it's okay if somebody else comes in and accesses your stuff. This is saying, this would have to do with you reaching out onto the internet and interacting with like the webmail server, for instance.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, it just reminded me of something. I tried to remove something from the computer and it says I'm not allowed. See, I tried to remove this recording, 113, because it's huge, but my Mac wouldn't allow me to remove it. That was last night. See that? It wouldn't allow me to remove it. So if we can do that.
Have you tried again?
Huh? Let's do that
Have
now.
you tried again?
Yeah, let's do that now because it wouldn't allow me. I tried many times last night. So it was about this Mac. Storage, manage, documents, and it's gone now. It's gone. Hold on. This is what happens all the time. Wait, here it
Yes,
is.
may have completed that deletion. Maybe it was giving you the error initially, and then it was finally able to complete the deletion of that file.
Well, look, you can say that. I tried many, many times. Hold on, let me close this one here. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Close this one here. So here I am. Last night I tried many, many times. It would not do it. It could not be completed. And then on its own accord, I went to bed. I get up this morning. I look at it and it's gone. So you're telling me that when I wanted to do it, it wouldn't do it. And then on its own accord, it just did it. And that's normal.
Based on what we're seeing here, yes, that must have been what happened exactly. As you were attempting to delete it, it was giving you errors, and then it was finally able to complete the deletion. And
No.
if you walked away and it completed the deletion when you weren't there, then that's how it must have happened based on what you're telling me. But again, large files do take quite a bit of time to delete, especially if you're deleting them from here versus going into Finder and just moving it into trash.
Right. So I don't mind it taking a long time. What I'm saying is, I did not walk away from the computer. I tried again and again, and I got this message which told me it could not be done. So I click on OK. I shut it down. I know it could not be done. I knew that the next day when I speak to Apple, I'm going to ask Apple about it, and we're going to do it together. That's why I brought it up, and I said, hey, let's do this before you leave. But because I know it was not done last night, I didn't leave it. I shut it down because it wouldn't do what I wanted it to do. And the next day, voila, like everything else, it's gone. So there, that's what happens. But thank you for your time, Nathan.
You're welcome.
Thank you. You have a good day now. Bye bye.